Welcome to Thursdays from the U. We are honored to be joined today by Wanda McFaggan, who works in tribal historic preservation for the St. Croix Ojibwe tribe. As I understand it, her job is to maintain and renew interest and knowledge of traditional ways. This might involve medicinal plants, sports and games, crafts and art, music, dance, making of teepees and canoes, etc. We have much to learn from her today. Please join me in saying hello or bonjour to Wanda McFaggan. Go ahead, Wanda.
Oh, thank you. Bonjour from St. Croix. I'm really glad to be able to present to you today and online. My name is Wanda McFaggan. I was born in Portland, Oregon. I was raised in Chicago. My family has strong ties to St. Croix. Part of my family helped to establish a lot of the tribal affairs here. Our tribe has gained federal recognition in 1934 with the Indian Reorganization Act, which helped us to establish a baseline for our tribal government here in Hertel, Wisconsin. I've been working in the Tribal Historic Preservation Department since 2000. We had a former Tribal Historic Preservation officer at one time, but he retired and passed away. So then there was nobody to oversee our department, and I came along and began to go to school for a federal land officer. And that kind of led me into tribal historic preservation. So I established our department in August of 2000 by just going to the other Ojibwe tribes in Wisconsin and seeing what they did for their department. And I took a little bit of each tribe and brought it back to Wisconsin or back to St. Croix to help us form our preservation office. So we oversee quite a bit of things. We oversee federal compliance with the National Historic Preservation Act, Section 106, where if there's any type of land development or anything like that, we will research and see if there's anything significant to the tribe, such as maybe burial mounds, medicinal sites. It could be a variety of things, but we help the people to kind of not disturb those things and maybe work around significant sites and good faith efforts. That's one part of my job. Another part of my job is I oversee I'm the NAGPRA representative, which is the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act representative. And in that capacity, we oversee the human remains that are still in museums, historical societies, and we try and repatriate them. Repatriation means to bring back to the origin of birth, and we try and reinter them back into the ground because we believe that when we leave our ancestors in these museums that we're not healing. So we try to our best to bring these remains back to their original land within each tribe. And so I have never done repatriation back to St. Croix, but I know other tribes have. So I oversee that, and I oversee some of the culture and some of the history. I make sure I document a lot of historical events, to provide us like a timeline as to where we once were and how we've gone throughout the years. I also I pretty much do whatever the tribe requires of me to do. I make a lot of publications just to get information out on the tribe. I have done some Wisconsin public television videos. I have a YouTube channel as well where we share some information on the tribe on there, or just traditions and cultural information in general. We also have a Facebook page where we share a lot of information on the tribe and just important topics within Indian country to make audiences aware of a lot of the Native American issues that are out there today. When our tribe, we were all located at one time along the East Coast, and our prophets told us that we had to move because of a light-skinned race was coming. So it took us over 500 years to migrate from the East Coast on through and to become in this area. We were known as the Lake Superior Chippewa, and each tribe is a band. We are the St. Croix band of the Lake Superior Chippewa. We have the Lakota band of Lake Superior Chippewa. So we are not a nation in ourselves. We belong to a nation. So that's just a little bit of history for you. Our people started the last time our prophets told us that we had to travel, we followed a Miga shell, and it stopped along different places, 7 different places, with the last place being Madeline Island. And we did some powerful ceremonies on Madeline Island, and to this day we consider Madeline Island to be the spiritual hub of the Anishinaabe. And so from there, part of our Martin clan started to come mainland and found abundance of resources for our people. So our people started leaving Madeline Island and coming into this area. And we went, a lot of our people tried to live the old ways, but with modern society, it was hard to do. So we've had a lot of our members get into the logging area, and just they started to see that more and more settlers were coming to our area, and it was making life hard for our people. So we started to adapt a little bit to modern society and working in adapting modern living by moving into homes and things like that. When our people reached this area, like I said, there was an abundance of resources here. So we decided to make this area our home. And we have what we call a checkerboard reservation. And that means we have land holdings in different county areas, but we all make up St. Croix. We all make up one band. And so we have land holdings in Burnett County. We have land holdings in Polk County and Barron County. And I believe we also owned land in Washburn County, but I'm not sure. I don't believe we have any settlements there. So our tribe has been here since 1934, and we've made a lot of strides to bring us forward in establishing a government and a central place for our people to go for assistance or resources or anything like that. Today we have roughly, I want to say, like maybe 1,200 members. Our tribe is relatively small because we are the only tribe in Wisconsin that requires half blood quantum. And most of the tribes in the area have gone down to 1/4 blood quantum. Some have gone down to 1/16 blood quantum for their descendants only. So if you can trace your lineage back to the original enrollment era, then you are called a lineal descendant and you are original member of the tribe. So people are, our tribe is kind of working on that to maybe vote to lower our blood quantum, because a lot of our children and our grandchildren can't be enrolled because of our high blood quantum. And so we're trying to work on that with the Constitution revision that's going on now within St. Croix. The BIA, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, I believe has our revision Constitution, and they will be returning it to us with their comments, and then I think the people will vote as to whether to amend our Constitution or what amendments to our Constitution should be made. So that's one aspect that's going on within the tribe here. We have a lot of things going on. Language revitalization. We have our Head Start program that's teaching the little ones, and a lot of them are learning language. I believe our education department has geared up for doing virtual graduation and setting up things like that. So we're using a lot of modern technology these days, but when it comes to our customs, we follow the protocol that was given to us from a long time ago, which is we don't use telephone or call you up, and our protocol calls for us to present tobacco when asking for knowledge. And had I been in person, the school would have been required to give me tobacco for this presentation. And I also asked for a small gift. The gift will go to my elder. The tobacco is for me and the Creator, and that he helps me find good words and be able to speak in a good way about the tribe. So, like in my position, I oversee a lot of different things. and I do a lot of volunteer work. I'm a crafter, so I share a lot of that knowledge. We do workshops. The preservation office just got done before COVID hit. We were doing a moccasin workshop where we had quite a few participants, and then COVID hit, and everybody just kind of got left a little bit. But I had put together a video on YouTube so that the ladies, if they watched the video, or anybody really watched the video, they could make a pair of moccasins from start to finish. And I'm really proud of our ladies here at St. Croix because a lot of them finished their moccasins on their own. And so for us to hold that very first workshop, a lot of people are interested in asking if we're going to hold another one. But I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I'm still waiting to get back into my office so that we can see how we can go forward. Maybe we can go forward with other workshops through YouTube or Facebook or something like that. So those are ideas that are on the table, and pretty much I do go to colleges and schools to talk about St. Croix and the history of St. Croix. I attend a lot of meetings on behalf of St. Croix to make sure that our voice is heard when it comes to off-reservation planning and on-reservation planning. I'm what they call a dual role preservation officer, which means that I oversee anything archaeological, historical, that is significant to the tribe on reservation. But I also go off reservation to consult with other entities that may be doing land development, such as maybe a cell tower, or maybe a highway improvement, or maybe they may be demolishing or building a new building structure where they'll get a hold of me and I'll do a review of our records that will show me if there's anything that's significant to our tribe, such as medicinal plant sites, grave sites, anything, burial mounds, and I will work with them to try to safeguard our best interest as they do their land development. So we have a lot of reviews that we get from Wisconsin Department of Transportation. We get some from Michigan and also Minnesota. So I work with other tribal historic preservation officers. If they have a project that they're overseeing and they need tribal support, the other tribes will come together and show our support, whether it's through meetings, whether it's through maybe they need a letter of support from us, or maybe we need to voice our concerns towards that project too. So we do come together quite a bit when it comes to a prime example is Enbridge. I don't know if a lot of people had heard about the Enbridge pipeline, that they want to replace the pipelines. And our concern is the leakage from the pipelines that could destroy resources and hurt the environment. So a lot of tribes got together, and we've been consulting with Enbridge about safeguarding our archaeological resources along the way that pipeline is coming. And that's I don't know if a lot of you had followed the news about Standing Rock and trying to stop the XL Dakota pipeline, but that'll give you a lot of good background as to what these pipelines do to the environment and why we try and stop the pipelines from new ones coming into the United States from Canada. So that's one aspect that our tribe gets together with the other bands, other tribes in Wisconsin, in trying to support one another regarding projects, land development projects. We had a project going on quite a few years ago where we used both Western technology and we also used our traditional knowledge. One of our lakes here where we do a lot of ricing, wild rice, my family has always riced that lake for a lot of years, and the rice was failing on that lake to the point where it was completely gone. And that hurt my family's heart quite a bit because our people riced there all the time. And so my cousin and I, we went to each of our brother and sister tribes, and we presented tobacco to the spiritual people, and we asked them to come over to St. Croix and help us pray for our rice over here, that it was failing. That was on the traditional side. On the western side, we also had our EPA department. They were pulling out invasive carp that was destroying the rice beds and destroying a lot of the lake. They pulled out, I think it was 138,000 pounds of carp out of there, or was it 38,000? But it was an awful lot of carp. I was there that day and I could not believe all the fish. So they've done that, and now, and this has been like maybe 7 years ago that started, maybe longer, but now our lake is plentiful with rice, and that's one of the lakes that we will be ricing again, if the people ain't already on the lake already. But those are just things some of the tribe, what we do in order to help our resources. I don't know what else I could talk about. I mean, I could talk about a whole bunch of things, but I'm not sure what you want to hear, because I wasn't since COVID started, I've been kind of like this, and I know the topics were sent to me, but I can't just think of them right now. So if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to ask.
Okay, there are about 30 people on the program. So again, I'm going to ask that you type your questions into the chat bubble so that we don't talk over each other. So far in chat, this is what we have, Wanda. We have from Sue, I'm so glad you're standing up for yourselves and your land with working with Enbridge. And Standing Rock was really a sad situation. Very sorry. We did have a presentation on Standing Rock a couple years ago from a guy who'd been there. That was a packed presentation. Many people were interested. Now, Sue also asks, can you talk a bit about your children and their schooling?
Well, I'm all of my children are adult. Um, I'm raising my 16-year-old grandson, and he's decided to do virtual learning rather than in school this year, just for fearful of too close of an environment. And I have diabetes and heart disease, so those are high risk factors for COVID. So he's chosen to do virtual, just to kind of keep old grandma safe here.
Okay.
So
All right. Is he learning Ojibwe language?
he has as a matter of fact, we just, our education, college outreach site is just in the process of setting up Zoom language. So we're all we can all learn that, just by going through Zoom in our education department.
All right. Is that LCO?
Yes, we have an outreach site here in Hurdle from LCO satellite.
Right. April asks, can you speak to current activities for continuing use of traditional ways for using the land for gardening, permaculture crops, harvesting wild plants, and so on?
We have a trails programs, traditions respecting Indian lifestyles, I believe it is. And they take a lot of our children out, maple syrup camp, ricing. They take them out and teach them ricing. We have a lot of people available within the tribe to teach those skills. A lot of our people are really beginning to get involved in gardening, not only for vegetables, but also a lot of them are wanting the knowledge of traditional healing plants. And a lot of them are getting into learning about our healing plants, and possibly, like my sister wants to do a medicine garden. We do have a medicine garden up where our education building is, and it's basically a community garden. So if you need any of the medicines that it has, you're more than welcome to go up there. We do take our kids around sage gathering. Matter of fact, my 5-year-old grandson just brought me a bundle of sage that him and his mom went and picked, and he picked a whole bunch and put them into bundles so that he can gift his grandmas and his aunties and with sage. So we do teach our children at a young age ceremony. My grandson knows and belongs to the Medewan Society like I do. We take I don't, but some of the people take their children to Big Drum to learn those ceremonial beliefs. So there's a lot of things that we do take time to teach our kids. Like I've had regalia making, because I sew. I do a lot of sewing for our tribe, and I do our royalty banners. So I hold class once in a while and teach these young girls that want to learn how to make a dance outfit. So there's a lot of things that we do in our community to teach. It all depends on finding the right person for the knowledge that you want to learn.
Wanda, explain Medewin. I'm sure not everyone knows that term.
I can't tell you about Medewin. It's a healing lodge. And that's pretty much all I can tell you. We don't speak very much of Medewin because well, this is very hard to explain, but we have the fake what shamans and people like that, like example was where all those people died in the sweat lodge in Sedona, Arizona, years back. Well, see, that's why we don't share a lot of our traditional and cultural ways, is because we don't want nobody taking these ways and interpreting them how they see them
Oh, I see.
and using them for misleading purposes. So we don't talk about what goes on in Maday. I mean, I can tell my close family, or if there is somebody that is wanting to go through Maday for health reasons or whatever reason they've chosen, I can talk with them a little bit about Maday. Otherwise, I can't freely. I don't want something bad happening to me.
Oh, I was kind of asking about what the word meant. So Medewin is healer?
Geez, that's a good question, what it translates to.
Oh,
I'm not exactly sure. I believe it's just healing ceremony, or I'll have to exactly find out what the translation. I've just always known it. So,
okay. Let's see. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Now, I can try to unmute people and see if you want to try to ask without talking over each other. So we'll try that. So people are unmuted. So Ginny, you have a question.
Oh,
Hi, this is
well,
Dick. Can
hi.
you talk about specific things that you would grow in your garden and what specific medicinal value?
Well, we in the medicinal garden would be sage, sweetgrass, some asema, tobacco. There's a lot of other different forms of medicines that we use, but those are, I would say, maybe the three most common ones is the sage, wheatgrass, and cedar. We use a lot of cedar, and the tobacco. So some grow what's called kinnikinick, and that has a variety of different plants in there. So that's what we call our tobacco, is the kinnikinick. It just depends on the type of ailment that you may have or your family may have, that you want to grow in your garden.
What, for
So,
example, would cedar be used for?
purification.
Okay.
And if you're sick, you can boil cedar in a pot, an old pot on your stove, and the aroma will help to clear you.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh, Otherwise, we just use it for removing the negative energy and purification.
Thank you.
Ginny, you have a question?
Oh, I have a million of them, but at one point you said, Wanda, that people could come up to the garden that you have, where your tribe grows medicines. Is
Yep.
that for everybody or just people from the tribe?
I believe it's solely for people of the tribe, but I mean, I've known others to go there and see, we can't be stingy and we can't say, no, you can't come here. You know, that's not our way. So if you needed something from the medicine garden, I'm sure there'll be somebody available to help you in what you needed. Our people have never been taught to be stingy. So we can't say, you know, you can't. So
Wow,
we just try and help people.
that's
But
humbling just to hear that.
I did quickly look up Medaywood, and it's Grand Medicine Society, medicine dance is what it roughly translates to.
Okay.
Uh,
I was
so
looking at your Facebook page before this talk, and one of the posts there was all about the plantain plant, which most of us know as just a garden weed, but it talked about all the medicinal uses of that. And there was another video on how to use dandelions, for instance. So there's a lot of information on your Facebook page.
yes, there
Oh,
is. We Well, I maintain that page, and I try when I come across other posts or something that has a significance to St. Croix, I will share it on the preservation page. Um, a lot of our customs from tribe to tribe or band to band are not always done the same way. So I try and find things that are more specific to St. Croix, even though LCO or Lac du Flambeau may share the same culture on it. We just may do things a little bit different. But yeah, um, we try and help other ones to make medicinal plant gardens. Like we go up to Sandy Lake every year. This year we didn't because of COVID, but we go up there and we have a feast for the Sandy Lake tragedy where over 400 Indians perished with the government illegally trying to relocate us to Minnesota. I have a video on there. I believe it's on my Facebook page, but it's on my YouTube page under the Sandy Lake tragedy. So that's a part of our history that was almost forgotten, even by our native people. So that's a revitalization of that. And I worked with the Army Corps there in McGregor, Minnesota, to help them establish a medicinal garden there. So they have a wide variety of medicine plants there.
wow.
Does anyone else have a question?
Oh, I remember being out of state. We were down near Texas, and someone sent me wild rice. I had requested wild rice. I used to live by the Fond du Lac Bend in Cloquet, and I
Oh,
guess when I requested wild rice, I thought she was going to get me some from them, but she didn't. It was some commercial outfit, and I didn't
oh,
want to buy wild rice from a commercial place. I wanted to buy some
the
that
real.
was right. So is there any place in Wisconsin that we can do that? Purchase
Yes,
rice from,
yes. As a matter of fact, if you go on Facebook,
uh-huh,
type in Conrad St. John.
Conrad St. John. Okay, I have to write that
Yes.
down. I'm getting old.
He writes, I mean, this is our great gatherer of the res, is what I believe anyway. I mean, he's an abundance of, he goes ricing, he goes hunting, he goes berry picking, he does the whole 9 yards when it comes to gathering resources. And he
Okay.
does sell his rice. I'm not quite sure how much, but he is very reasonable priced, and he's on Facebook.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
I see another question in the chat here from Doug, who says you referred to Native people. What is the most desired term? Should we say natives or Indians or Native Americans or indigenous? What do you prefer?
Personally, um, it doesn't matter to me, but I know some feel very strongly about being called indigenous. So, and that would be the term that I would prefer also, instead of American Indian or Native American, because we were here way before that.
Right.
Yes.
Indigenous, I just read recently, translates as of the land.
Yeah,
So,
and that's our people. We're stewardess of the land. We take care of our land. We don't abuse it. We don't abuse the animals or the resources on the land. And there's specific offerings we give before we take anything from Mother Earth. We never take too much of anything. So our prophecy tells us that if we abuse our resources, the Creator will take them away from us. So we are very careful when it comes to our resources, because those are gifts from the Creator.
does anyone else have a question? Oh, April asks, do you have current profits? I'm not sure what that question means. Profits from, I don't know if it's the casino or something else. So if you could just address that question. Oh, no, she said she misspelled it. Sorry. And she meant profits as in Prophet,
Ah,
not monetary
medicine
profits.
people.
Yeah.
We call them medicine people. Yes, we do have a lot of medicine people that still, we may have to travel ways to get to them, but yes, we do have a lot of medicine people that we go to that doctors us spiritually for our health and different reasons for that. And like I said, Medewin, that's a healing medicine lodge also, but we have individuals too uh, that we can go to.
Okay, she further clarifies, do you know of current prophecies regarding what is happening now? I don't know if she means politically or environmentally or whatever, but current prophecies.
Um, Well, we have what's called the seven fires, and those are prophecies that are foretold to our people. So if she was to go online and look up the seven fires or the seven prophecies, she could get a better understanding. The prophecies that we relate to, because right now I've heard a lot of talk that we're into our eighth fire now, and that the eighth fire is the destruction and everything that's going on in the world today. It also foretold us of a rainbow race, what's called a rainbow race will be coming. And after all of the destruction and everything is all gone away, they'll help us to rebuild our way and make the earth a better place. And my personal thought is on the rainbow race is all of us, black, yellow, red, all of us, the rainbow of people. The ones that represent the medicine wheel, and I think that will be coming, because we've seen a lot of people start standing up for the injustices of the world today. Black Lives Matter, and I think society is getting tired of how everything has become in the world. And so I think the eighth prophet, the eighth fire is starting, and because I'm seeing more people speak up for the land and the goodness. So
I see another question in chat. If you find arrowheads or war axes, should they be turned over to indigenous people?
most people do. As a matter of fact, I got 2 arrowheads from England, and this man, his great grandfather came over here for a week and visited, and the host family that he was staying with plowed up some arrowheads. So he gave them to the man, and as a gift, the man went back to England, never stepped foot again back in the United States. But his son got them passed down to him, and he started to research Native Americans in the state, and we were the closest tribe to where the arrowheads were found. So he got a hold of us and he returned them to us. He said that he believed that we were the rightful people that should have them. So we have them in my office, and one dates back to 1800 BC. The other one dates back to 1500 AD.
Oh,
Wow.
So very recently, we just had a man return a pipe to us. So we do get back things just from people that are good-hearted and believe that it should be returned to the rightful owners. But we do get people too that are interested in selling us back our own stuff. So
Jeez. Hmm.
So the issue, Wanda, of Native American remains in museums. How much progress are we making at getting those returned to the tribes?
well, in Wisconsin, With all of the tribes in Wisconsin, we have what's called the Wisconsin Intertribal Repatriation Committee. And that's members of all of the Wisconsin tribes that have formed a subcommittee under the Great Lakes Intertribal Council. So we work to try and reinter these human remains back into the ground. There is some land available where we bring these. If we don't know who they're affiliated with, if they're affiliated with St. Croix can have the choice to take them and reinter them. If they're LCO, they take them. But if the affiliation or the nation is unknown, but it's still Chippewa, then we will take these remains and reinter them ourselves under this committee. So we do oversee some repatriations and to pick them up from Madison or wherever and bring them back to reinter them into the ground.
What do you think is the biggest misunderstanding between Indigenous persons and white folks?
In general, or?
Well, I guess in general, what is it that what's the biggest barrier between getting along better or understanding each other better?
I know one could be trust, because we were dealt so badly by the federal government. I know some families don't even trust non-natives even to this day. They don't trust agencies, governmental agencies. But there are some families that work very well. I think a big part of racial issues in our area is non-education. I don't see a whole lot of people taking the time to learn who we are and learn what we do for our community. They just tend to want to look down on us and that we're no good without even taking the time to learn. For myself, when I started this department, I wanted to not be closed-minded in just our way. So I did a lot of learning of other cultures and other people's ways, so I wouldn't be so closed-minded and so racial about what government and what other people have done to my people. Because I say that, you could, if you read some of the history that I've read, I could be a very, very bitter person. But I don't believe that's the way that the Creator wants me to be, because He put me here. So I just try very hard to use those feelings and that energy to educate. We're not really any different. We eat the same foods. We do everything the same. Just some of our worship ways are different. Some of our cultural ways are different. Our language, But basically in 2020, I drive a car. I have air conditioning. There's nothing really any different between me and the other person except for cultural knowledge, heritage. And we say we'll share that very freely with anybody if it helps them to learn who we are, instead of saying we're welfare Indians, we're timber niggers, a good Indian is a dead Indian. We don't come and learn. I invite people to the tribe all the time. I'll take you around. I'll show you, you know, I'll show you our government center, our Head Start, everything what we do here, so that you can go home with a better understanding who we are, instead of going home and saying them timber niggers ain't learned nothing yet. And see, that offends me, but I'll say it for the impact point, because that's the way it truly is with some of these people, even in our backyards. When we first started sparing, my daughter grew up kindergarten with a non-native girl. They were best friends. When we first started exercising our sparing rights, she called my daughter a timber nigger. And my daughter didn't have the slightest clue as to why and what that meant. So, we have some that are very mean because of those reasons. But we have a majority that will sit and educate you, rather than have you call us those names and you don't know why you're calling us those names. So
if people want more information, if they want to educate themselves more, should they contact you or your office, or do you have a preferred means that they would contact you by? Your email, what?
my information is online under Facebook. Even if you look up, I believe our website, I think, is in construction right now. I think we're building a new website, but there may be if you look under Glyphwick, Great Lakes Indian Tribe, Great Lakes Indian. Yes. It has the tribal information there, and all you got to do is call the tribal center. If I'm due to go back to work at the end of this month, but I also you can Facebook message me, email me. I try to be always available.
Okay. So again, Wanda's Facebook page, if you look under Facebook, it's the St. Croix Tribal Preservation, right? That will get you there.
Yes. So YouTube has the same thing.
I see one more message in chat here, which is just thank you for sharing the valuable information.
Well, I hope everybody got a little something out of it, because I forgot my notes. So that's why I was scattered and kind of all over the place and everything. But if anyone wants to learn more personally, please reach out and I will be better organized, I should say. Because this morning I had to take my grandson to the hospital. He was having stomach pains. And we didn't get home until kind of late, so I kind of rushed everything, and I apologize. But if you get a hold of me, we'll gladly share and teach you whatever it is you would like to learn.
Okay.
Your sharing today was very generous. Thank you.
Sure.
I think we should all say miigwech, which is Ojibwe for thank you. So our time is up now, but again, you have her contact information if you want to reach out to the St. Croix tribe. So I will thank you all for attending today and hope to see you again next week. If you're interested, the respiratory therapist will be talking about the new cigarettes. Have a good day,
Hello?
everyone.